United States, coastal erosion causes over $500 million in damage per year. Likewise, the United States recycles approximately 31% of the glass its citizens throw away, compared to other countries like Switzerland and Belgium, who have a glass recycling rate of around 90%. So what can be done to benefit the community and mitigate both of these problems? Or as the popular phrase suggests, how can we kill two birds with one stone? Hi, I'm Stephen Weber, and I'd like to tell you about how Glass Half Full CEO Francisca Troutman set out to answer that. Glass Half Full is a recycling company that processes glass into sand for use in restoration and disaster relief. To someone who has a strong passion for environmental conservation and benefiting my community, seeing a person in their young 20s become a business owner for both is truly an inspiration. Every year, the company processes over 100,000 pounds of glass, keeping it out of landfills and using it to benefit their community. The company is based in New Orleans, Louisiana, a place in the country with a reputation for heavy flooding I'm sure we all know too well. Glass Half Full receives the glass they recycle via free drop-off hubs throughout the city and split their time every week between recycling the glass and contributing to coastal restoration projects and disaster relief. The glass they produce not only goes to making sand and gravel for more ornamental purposes like covering for gardening, but also towards filling sandbags as a first line of defense for their fragile community. Today, I'd like to take some time to give you a better look at three crucial concepts behind Glass Half Full's approach. To start, what is a circular economy and why is it important? 2, how glass recycling is a beneficial approach to a circular economy and what causes coastal erosion, and how Glass Half Full is showing strong leadership in being both community and environmentally driven. So let's begin by answering the first question. What is a circular economy? The Environmental Protection Agency states that a circular economy is a change to the model in which resources are mined, made into products, and then eventually become waste. Essentially, saying that if a company buys materials that are mined to make a cell phone, after I buy the cell phone and I've had it for a length of time, whether it breaks or I get a new phone, the material should be broken down for use in an alternative application, which could be making a new phone. Before more materials are harvested from nature. This example is a bit more complex and not necessarily the best to describe a successful circular economy, but it puts a circular economy in a broad enough bubble that's more approachable. The important takeaway of this model is its main focus to reduce material use and mining, as well as reduce the pool of never-ending items ending up in landfills at the end of their disposable lives. Another positive impact of a circular economy is preventing hazardous waste from re-entering local environments. This could be something in the realm of a disposable battery. With all this in mind, a circular economy can be seen as more of the marriage between traditional models of business and environmental responsibility. The second point that we'd like to circle back to is going to be glass recycling. Let's look back again at the cell phone example, except in this case it's no longer a cell phone, it's a bottle of wine. The bottle started its life as sand, was melted down and manipulated into the shape of a bottle. Under a circular economy, the wine bottle wouldn't end up in a landfill, but instead be used towards materials for something new. Glass is infinitely recyclable, meaning it can be recycled continuously without the loss of quality in any manner that something like a plastic water bottle would see in its recycling process. Glass recycling is also a closed loop system, meaning that in the actual process of recycling recycling glass, no additional waste or byproducts are created. Glass Half Full accepts the glass from donations to prevent them from entering the landfill, but also mainstream recycling. Glass is often too fine or difficult to separate from other materials like paper, plastic, and aluminum when on a conveyor belt being recycled. And when Glass Half Full takes the glass, it goes through a multi-stage process in which the labels are removed from, say, a glass bottle. It's ground down and thoroughly washed to get off any sticker residue or anything like a foreign contaminant from what the container was once used for, until finally drying it and getting ground back down finally into sand. Glass Half Full sorts by color, which gives the sand a more unique look in the end process. The company will also grind the glass down into gravel and will either sell the sand to be reblown into glass, or it will go towards filling a sandbag to help their local community with disaster relief. Glass recycling is important because it not only prevents the need to go and grab more sand from, say, a local beach, causing it to be more susceptible to coastal erosion, but also reduces carbon emissions from the production process. According to the Glass Packaging Institute, 1 ton of carbon dioxide emissions are reduced for every 6 tons of recycled container glass, and over 1 ton of natural resources are conserved for every 1 ton of glass recycled. So recycling glass material has many benefits, and with the material itself being infinitely recyclable, it stands as an example that it is possible to look towards a future with a more circular economy. But environmental awareness encompasses both recycling and conservation. Coastal erosion has affected many areas, most notably Glass Half Full's home state of Louisiana. The U.S. Climate Resilience Toolkit defines coastal erosion as the process by which local sea level rise, strong wave action, and coastal flooding wear down or carry away rocks, soils, and or sands along the coast. Beaches, inlets, and wetlands are all areas that can be heavily affected, and this can bleed into cities and other inhabited areas. Louisiana has the highest rate of wetland loss in the entire country. In over 100 years, the Louisiana barrier islands have decreased in area by more than 20%. Placing sandbags around wetlands and placing additional sand on beach can act as both a buffer to erosion. It can help prevent water from rising and overtaking more land in the community. And quite often, a lot of communities will end up having to bring in more sand before storm season to attempt to mitigate the problem before it happens. But most likely, sand will get washed out by sea, so there's never any sort of shortage for demand. The establishment of Glass Half Full is the beautiful story of what happens when a young person looks to solve problems afflicting their community and their local environment. They stand to show us that a circular economy can be possible. We can have a better future in which waste is never touching a landfill, where the hands we lay on the world are clean, and we can give back to civilization and the environment just alike. After hearing about the mission and hearing about what this company does, they have become an inspiration to me, and I hope through this it's become an inspiration for you.